Oliver and his brake van Toad liked working in the big yards. But one morning, Toad noticed that Oliver was unhappy, and he decided to find out why. "Excuse me, Mr. Oliver, but it seems to me that you're, out of sorts, as it were. If you forgive me for mentioning it." "You're quite right, Toad. All I do is shunt these trucks onto the turntable. I'd long for a nice run. It's what an engine really needs." "Quite so, Mr. Oliver," conceded Toad. "May I suggest that you speak to the Fat Controller about your problems?" Oliver said nothing. He just grew unhappier. He was rough with the cars. "You're no good, Oliver. You're dangerous. We want Percy." "Percy's far too busy to be bothered with the likes of you." And Oliver bumped the trucks hard. "You silly great engine!" shouted a workman. "It'll take a long time to repair this turntable, which will cause confusion and delay." That night, Sir Topham had arrived. "Oliver, you have caused confusion. I thought I could trust you to control trucks. You shall work the mail train for a while. Maybe the night air will help clear your smoke box." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," said Oliver sadly. "Cheer up, old chap," smiled his driver. "The mail train is a grand run for a fine engine like you." Oliver smiled, but still felt he had let everyone down. His driver took them along the coastal run with the mail train. The fresh air couldn't help but brighten Oliver's spirits. They made good speed until it was time to collect some important mail from Harold the helicopter. "Come on, Harold!" They waited and waited. At last, Harold landed. "Sorry I'm late, Grey Weston. Had a bit of a problem with one of my arms. Kept letting me down when I was meant to be up. You know how it is." "We know that we'll be late for our first run," groaned Oliver's driver. Soon they were on their way again. Ahead was a red signal. Oliver didn't realize that the signalman had dozed off. He whistled several times, but the signal stayed red. "There must be something wrong with that signal. We'll go slowly and stop by the signal box," said his driver. But they never reached it. The points before the signal box were switched to an old track. They were going the wrong way. Oliver's fireman was concerned. "We need to find a water tower soon." Instead, they saw an old station. Disaster lay ahead. Meanwhile, the Fat Controller was worried. Oliver has not returned. We'll send out a search party. Soon he was high in the sky with Harold. There they are. "It wasn't all of his fault," said his driver. "I'm aware of that. I'm just glad you're all safe." Then he saw something. It was an empty old house beside the line. He went to inspect it. When he returned, he spoke to Oliver. "You have found another attraction for our island. We'll make this house as good as new, and visitors can have tea and crumpets there." Sighed Oliver. "Getting lost can be interesting, but being found is much nicer. Especially when it makes an engine feel really useful."